Well, we know it's been a busy few days, and as members of Congress have fled Washington for their annual winter hiatus, senators are delaying their holiday break in order to return to the Capitol next week. It is all in hopes of striking a deal to secure more aid for Ukraine. Republicans are holding firm, however, on their stance to support Ukraine funding only if they receive concessions on border security here at home, while progressive Democrats are urging President Joe Biden not to give in to the GOP demands. Now, there's a recent piece in Politico stating the following: if the Kremlin is successful in Ukraine, Russian support for terrorists all over the world would strengthen, as will cooperation with Iran, North Korea. These regimes, which use death, terror, and fear at home and abroad, will challenge the West. Joining me right now, Indiana Congresswoman Victoria Spartz, who's also the first native Ukrainian to serve in the United States Congress. Welcome in, Congresswoman. A pleasure to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, obviously, there is a lot of concern that if Putin is allowed to continue on, many say this is only going to mean more strength, as we just said, to Iran, to their proxies, which we know is a huge issue for the West, and the axis with China as well. So are you feeling that there will be a deal that's struck, knowing that it is tied to border security? Because some Republicans are saying the negotiations really aren't as far along as maybe we're led to believe.
Well, I think no doubt. And, we need to remember that Ukraine was the third largest nuclear country. And, Russia, United States, and UK signed an agreement to, with assurances of their territorial integrity in exchange of giving up nuclear weapons. So implications are significant, including in our international standing. But we also need to make sure that the other side, the Democrats, understand, that we will hold the ground on border security, because if we don't protect our country, there is no hope for anywhere else in the world. We also need to make sure that, President Biden been slow walking aid to Ukraine and let Putin to advance that far and fortified. And now became a stalemate situation, which cost a lot of money and a lot of lives for Ukrainians. So I think we need to be tougher, but we have to have, agreement on border security. And he needs to understand we will hold the ground. He's getting better with parole, with credible fare for asylum seekers, but he's not willing to, to tighten the parole that he's been abusing.
Well, obviously, the next few days are critical to see what happens with the aid and also the border security. And we're watching it closely, and it could go either way. But I do want to talk a little bit about your resignation. You announced way back in February that you would not be seeking re-election in 2024. Recent weeks, we've seen others that announced they will be leaving as well. Drew Ferguson yesterday broke, Patrick McHenry, of course, George Santos being expelled. There's some concern the razor-thin majority in the House for the GOP now is really at stake and could be actually in jeopardy. What is your take on the ability for the GOP to hold its majority?
Well, we have to, but I'll be honest with you. Listen, I need to take time off to get some sanity back. Some people have been in D.C. too long, so I'm glad that we will be getting some fresh blood. But in reality, I think we need to show that we can govern. American people are tired of our party not keeping our promises. And that is a big task for our current speaker. Right now we're negotiating on appropriations, and that Democrats agreed to. They're not even as good as they should be. It's not even a significant cut from inflated spending of 23. And then now they want to renegotiate something they signed in the law. We have to be strong on this issue. We have to show the American people that we can protect the country. We can deal with the issues and really not just be talking heads on TV. And I think if we do, then we're going to win and increase our majority. But if not, I think American people are tired from that. So I hope that we'll show that we can have some leadership.
Well, I think a lot of Americans want that too. Obviously, we saw a change with the speakership as well recently. People are definitely watching very closely. The constituents are listening and looking for change. Congresswoman Victoria Spartz, thank you so much for your time today.